Hello there.
tutors for me because Gallup, of course, isn't
Absolutely. That's no
here.
problem.
You know what? I need to go out and call and get myself an agenda because I had all that before. I'm still waiting for an email from you.
I know. I'm trying to stay awake. So someone borrowed my clicker, so that's empty. So I'll click for you tonight. And
All right.
one of my microphone receivers is the battery's a little low, but it's picking up just fine.
All right.
And we're live right now.
Okay.
It's charging. It's just talk loud.
All right, greetings. Welcome. It is so wonderful to see young people in front of me. And Mr. Price has already said, and our young people have lots of questions. And that's fine, because that's how we learn. I am so delighted that everybody came out this evening for our fall community meeting. We've got Mr. Norman, our board member in the back. We've got our two administrators down in Creswell, Dr. Yancey and Mr. Price. I see lots of teaching staff, which is a joy to see, some of which are parents as well. Ms. Jordan is not on the agenda tonight, but we were celebrating because she and Mr. Norman, our transportation director, wrote a grant that was honored. So we are celebrating Ms. Jordan and Mr. Norman for bringing in funds to our county to support our children. I have some items to share with you, but we also have some other people on the agenda this evening. I don't have a clicker. So I'd like to recognize our board members that aren't able to be with us this evening. Ms. Cherry is on the way, but we also have at the top Chairman Riddick, and below him our Vice Chair, Ms. Clark. She came to our meeting that we had in Roper last week, and then Mr. Phelps. And do you know that Mr. Phelps has been a board member? He's going to be rolling on, but my goodness, he has been a board member since 2003. So we are going to celebrate him in November for those many years of experience and him giving back to his community as a board member. This is our second meeting, and we are going to have this on our agenda this evening, which is our construction project before us. And then we will round out our last meeting at Plymouth next Monday. And I was talking with Principal Peel earlier today, and we may even have some other community, maybe law enforcement, join us at that particular meeting. So I invite those of you, some of you were with me last week, but if you plan to come to the one that we have at the high school, we could potentially have another agenda item. So this is going to be Ms. Harris' first official talk, and we are so grateful that she is in the central services now. She was CDC at the high school, and some of you guys may have worked with her as the career development coordinator, but now she is our director of testing and accountability, and she's going to share with us our statistics from last year. And then after she goes over our statistics from Washington County schools, she's going to share with you some statistics from the state and the Northeast region. So take it away, Ms. Harris. And you're just going to have to give Mr. Smith the nod because the clicker has walked away.
Well, good evening, everyone. And I see the largest group here are the students, so I'm going to zoom in on you all. So treat me like you would treat a teacher on the first day of school. Today is officially my first day. A lot of you say faces are familiar, and I remember working with some of you when I was at CDC. So we have some interesting information to share with you tonight. And this presentation is not meant to be too long. We just want to make sure that you get an overview of what we're actually doing in the district.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, we're working on
So
the
the
clicker.
data you will see will be our 2021 and 2022 data. And we just want to kind of break that and show you what the data actually reflects.
It's all right. We're working on a clicker for her.
Okay, so this is grade level proficient, and it's our overall tested data. And if you look at it, for overall from grades 3 through 12, and then, go back one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 3 through 12, in the first column, you'll see that we actually show growth. For grades 3 through 8, you'll see that we show growth. And if you look at 9 through 12, you'll notice that at the high school level, there was a 4.9% decrease. Next slide. Now this chart is our grade level proficiency data for reading. And if you take a look at it, you'll
Do I need to go back? Oh, it is working.
Go back to
Yeah.
reading.
Okay. Give her the power. Give her. Yeah, we're gonna give you the power. We got us a clicker working.
Okay. Thank you.
Hot dog.
So this is our data for reading.
Good job. Thank you.
And grades 3 through 8, we're showing growth. And if you actually look at the chart, we're showing growth in each category except for grade 3. And do any of the students or anyone in the room have an idea why we may have a decline in grade 3? So this was the first time these students actually tested. It wasn't just for our district. This was a statewide issue. So this decrease that we have in grade 3 is the overall issue right after the pandemic, and this is the students' first time actually tested.
There we go.
So the data you see here is our math data. And we're showing growth, but if you really zoom in and take a look at grades 5 and grade 6, you'll see that it's substantial growth. For grade 5, we have 19.9%, and grade 6, 22.2%. So that's how you can tell that it makes a difference having certified teachers in the classroom. That's how you can really see when and where the students are growing. So I think that's an area to be celebrated. So now we're looking at our science. And for science, we had an overall increase in grades 5 through 8. Science for grades 5, we had a substantial increase. And looking at 8th grade science, we had a slight decrease, but we also had a substitute in the area for the majority of the year. So that impacts our test scores. The big four. Now we're going to take a look at our 9th through 12th, our math 1, math 3, biology, and English 2. And we're showing a slight decrease, because I don't know if you remember, first of all, we were stating that in grades 9 through 12 in our high school grades, and that's where you all will be impacted as well, but not so much. We did show a decrease in that level. So 9 through 12, we had a small decrease in math, an increase in math 3. Biology, and that's just reflective of the high school, because here at the early college, you all did not actually test in biology last year. You were testing in that area this year. And English 2, we also have a slight decrease. So now we're going to show our data, some of the composite scores for our ACT, the worksheets, the graduation cohort rates actually increased. But if you look at the ACT, one time you only needed a 17, a composite score of a 17, and now you need a composite score of a 19. So with them making that change, it looks as if we showed a decrease areas of celebration. Reading 3 through 8, overall grades 4 through 8 felt gains in reading. So we know, and we just talked about what happened in grade 3 with those students their first time being tested. Math, grades 3 through 8 had a significant gain in math. Grades 3 through 8 had a significant gain in math, and grades 5 and 6 more than doubled from the previous year. Now, math at the early college, and all y'all have Miss Evans. I have Miss Evans as well. So I know you have a jewel in the classroom. She had a 100% proficiency rate, so we definitely should celebrate that.
Yeah.
And for our 4 and 5 year cohort ratings, we felt gains in both of those areas for graduation rates. Areas of opportunity where we can improve attendance. And I know if you were at the last meeting, you heard the board members say, please make sure you're in school from the time to start until the time to end. So your attendance really matters. And parents that are in the room, it really play a part in having the student in the classroom from there to there. ACT worksheets. We can really take advantage of that and make sure that we utilize the software that we have to practice and really get the hang of it. Because if you work with me in the first capacity of the CDC, we stress worksheets and why it's important. So the students that will be taking the worksheets will be the students that actually are CTE completers. And this year, all seniors will have the opportunity to take the worksheet. So that's just basically telling somewhere like Domtar, I'm ready to become working. If you decide that you don't want to graduate and go to college, you want to go directly to the workforce, then you're able to do that. Some people just look for that credential, but you will have the opportunity to earn different silver, bronze, platinum, different badges. So that's really a good certification to have, and it's also a way to view your resume, so you can earn that credential and add it to your resume. And the ACT composite score, we just talked about that, how we would have had that 10.6 increase had the requirements stayed the same, but because the requirements increased, it kind of made it look like we had a decrease in there. And that graduation rate. And we could just be more intentional on making sure that all students graduate, because we want to see all of you successful. So where do we stand as it compares to neighboring schools, neighboring districts? I don't know if you can actually see the counties that's on this chart, but we have the first column is showing North Carolina as a whole. The second column is Washington County. The third, Bertie, then Northampton, Creswell, and then Terrell. So if you look at it, across the state, we're not too far off, but we have a lot of room. Like we are aligning with the neighboring districts, but we have a lot of room to grow. So just look at it from that positive aspect that we definitely have a lot of room to grow. So this is the same type of graph with the alignment showing reading, grades 3 through 8, math 3 through 8, and science 5 through 8, and seeing how we align with neighboring counties as well as in the state. On this chart, it's showing math 1, math 3, biology, and English 2, and we're also showing the alignment. And now moving on to like our ACT composite and our ACT worksheet and how we align. So we definitely have a lot of room to grow in those areas. Now this chart is showing the cohort graduation rate, a 4-year rate, and our 5-year rate and how we align. So we're supposed to be aligned in that area, but because it's not showing 100%, we still have opportunities to grow in this area as well. So the Washington County School designation is for the 2021-2022 school year. Now, when we first went over it, we just showed the overall composite score. So now it's going to be broken down by the school. So let's take a look. We currently have a low performing letter required, it's a letter that's required to be sent out to all families showing that we are a low performing district. But if you take a look at the chart, you will see at the bottom it shows we did not meet the negative 2%, negative 1.99 to plus 1.99% meet growth, and then plus 2 point or higher exceeds growth. So test scores, EVAS growth, EL progress for all high schools, additional indicators that measure career and college ready are included in the school performance calculation. So with those calculations, the school performance grades are based on 80% achievement and 20% growth. So looking at this chart, you'll see Creswell net growth, and that's Creswell Elementary School. Pines Elementary School net growth. Washington County High School did not meet growth. Washington County Early College High School exceeds growth. So because we're here, I think you should give yourself a hand for that too. And Washington County Middle School also exceeds growth. So if you have any younger siblings or anything, that's a reflection of their work. So the NC DPI requires letters for low performing schools. So the schools that will be getting the letters are Creswell Elementary, Pines Elementary, and Washington County.
There will be in a few minutes. I'm listening to it.
So this
And you
is
can
Creswell
hear
Elementary School grade level proficient overall success score. So when looking at this, you will see that we had a slight decrease from the previous year. So the first column is showing the previous year, so that would have been 2020, 21, and the second column is showing 2021 and 22. So we're aligning pretty close, but it's a slight decrease in that data. Now Creswell Elementary designation for 2021 versus 2022. It's a low performing school, so it's a reoccurring low performing school, but we met expected growth. Now, it was a drop or a decrease in underperforming black students, and that's an additional target. So I'm sorry, I'm just reading something here. Okay, so there's no federal designation for Creswell Elementary School, so let me clear that up. So Creswell Elementary School did meet expected growth. Pines Elementary School data. If you take a look at this data, you will see that at Pines Elementary School, we are showing growth in all areas. And remember, they were 1.3, and to exceed growth was 2.0. So they were there, they were almost there. So they were only 0.17 away from exceeding growth. And here are their designations, but they did meet expected growth. So now we will talk about Washington County Middle School, and that was the school that showed the largest percentage of growth. Check out their math scores. If you look back at the previous year, it was at 10.8, and it increased all the way to 23.4 in grades 6 through 8. And in science, it was a slight decrease. But in science for that year, there was a substitute in that classroom. So again, Washington County Middle School exceeds expected growth. Washington County High School. So this, to me, and I would say this may be the area that's the closest to home because it's where I graduated when it was Plymouth High at that time, and where I have been throughout my years here at Washington County School. We have a lot of room for growth at the high school. So as long as we can start or get on the path of trending up, that would be a good thing. But Ms. Hill and Ms. Skinner, they are reaching out. They have these fields, different ones in the school with coaching. So it's a lot of areas for growth, but they're really putting things in place to make sure that we can meet that increase in different areas. designations for that school, and again, this is the school that did not meet the expected growth for the school year. Finally, we're at Washington County Early College High School, and look at your data. You're showing increases in almost every area and 100% in your math and your graduation cohort. And remember the ACT composite, that was the one that increased. So had it not increased, we would probably be showing an increase in that area as well. And biology is not showing anything in that column because you all did not test biology last year. You'll be testing it this year. And your school exceeded expected growth.
It's okay. He'll fix it, and Miss Simpson has that part in hers too. So.
Okay. So are there any questions for me? I'm sorry, I was a little nervous. This is my first day.
You're fine.
Let's give her some love.
Otherwise, there's a lot of opportunities for growth, and I'm here to support and make sure that the next time the presentation is done, we're showing growth in all areas.
Good evening. While they're getting the presentation up, I did want to share something quickly about pre-K. So there are new guidelines that came out Wednesday of last week that allow for an increase in income of $11,000 to account for inflation. So there are several parents. We have only been able to open half of our Creswell location. So we only have 9 students currently. If we get 5 or 6 more students, we'll be able to open the other half of that. So if you know of any children in our area that have not yet applied, there's a good chance they might now qualify to be able to meet those income guidelines. So really make sure that you have reached out. If there's anyone else that you know of that might have a 4-year-old, and they had to be 4 by August 31st, we want them to come and apply with us. We want to be able to get all of our 4-year-olds served so that they're starting off kindergarten as best as possible. So, perfect. So I'm going to start off with our instructional resources and programs that we have here in Washington County. You can see our yellow circle is our elementary, our green circle is our middle school, and our blue circle is our high school areas. These are the programs and resources that we provide to all of our students that attend those areas. I'm really excited to say that our middle school and high school just last week added Delta Math as an additional resource for ensuring alignment between practice, making sure students are really prepared in our math areas from 6 to 12. We're hoping to add a few additional resources to really target our middle school and high school since they don't have a curriculum, and we're really diving deep into researching curriculum this year and choosing our curriculum for our upcoming school year. So some of our areas just to point out, our elementary is still under that whole professional development for our teachers, focusing on phonics with letters. So that's a big part of our teachers' work this year, from PLCs to learning after school to even our trainings that we have throughout the year. We'll continue to do M-class testing, which is their equivalent to check-ins or EOGs at the end of the year for our K-2 students. Our curriculum is still with its SAVIS, and our intervention is still Imagine Learning. Our middle school is using iReady for their intervention. They are still an AVID focus school, so we're really excited for the growth that they're going to continue. Miss Barbara is doing wonderful things with that program. Our high school has kind of dived into CCRG, ensuring that those students with a GPA are getting the additional practice they need to be successful once they've graduated. We're also still using a reading apprenticeship with them. Both schools are partnering, both our middle school and our high schools are partnering with PGC, peer group mentoring, to really establish some mentors between our seniors or upperclassmen and lowerclassmen. They're also using Edgenuity and NCVPS to fill in some of the holes that we're still looking at with our teachers. The whole district has moved to ClassLink as our single sign-on, and this ClassLink has really saved a lot of instructional time because it's one-click access, just like it would be on your phone. Our teachers are still using Remind as a communication tool, so if you have not yet updated your phone with your homeroom teachers, make sure you do that. Keeping that phone number active in PowerSchool is really important to get all of our communication in a timely manner. We have really taken this last year to look at mindsets. And we know for students and for staff, mindsets is huge. And us having the opportunity as a Washington County School staff to get to do things to support students is really important to us. We have the opportunity in 4 main key areas of our district to support students. So our district improvement teams are broken into 4 key areas, making sure we're meeting staff expectations, we're really diving down deep into curriculum instruction, that we are looking at our students and staff, safety, health, and well-being, and that we are engaging our families and our community in a very authentic way. So we have 4 different district teams that are going to continue to do this, and we've really set forth expectations and goals that we as a district and staff get to do to ensure that all of the students are going to be successful in Washington County. So when I look at what our goal is for the next 3 years, it's really going to be making sure that we are increasing our proficiency. It is great for us to show growth, and at most of our schools we're doing that. And we're getting further and further to exceed growth, which means we're catching up. But by catching up, that means we have to start getting more students proficient. So over the next 3 years, our goal is to raise our reading proficiency in grades 3 through 8 by 15%. Our math proficiency by 15%. Our science proficiency by 15% in grades 5 and 8, and 30 percentage points at our high school. This is all very doable. It's going to take our staff really making sure our lessons are aligned, making sure we're tracking students' progress. It's going to mean that students have to show up to school. You've got to be here to learn. You've got to ask questions. You have to engage with your teachers and your other staff, your other peers to make sure this works. Parents, it's going to take you asking questions. It's going to take you, when you don't understand what's happening at school, calling the teacher up, making plans to meet with them, having conferences. We can't do it by ourselves. You guys can't do it by yourselves. We all have to work together to get these proficiency goals. Next is growth. And this goal isn't something that we're going to wait for 3 years to make sure happen. This is something we expect to have happen over the next 3 years each year. We want all of our schools to meet or exceed growth. That is the expectation, that every single kid in every single classroom is meeting growth. And it's our goal to make sure that every single student is exceeding growth, because that's how we're going to get our proficiency. So we're not going to stop with just 1 year of getting it, and we're not going to wait for 3 years. It's our goal that we are meeting and exceeding growth at all of our schools over the next 3 years. And last, really looking at health, safety, and well-being of our staff and students. And this comprises so many different things. It looks at our mental health. It looks at our students' physical health. It looks at our staff and making sure that we're providing them professional development days and they've got enough time to do their work and we're not overloading. Making sure that we've got safe environments for students. So over the next 3 years, which includes the opening of that new school, our goal is to increase our attendance rate for students by 10%, increase our attendance rate for our staff by 10%, and decrease our suspension rates by 10%. Because we know that when our discipline issues are decreased, our students are happier, our staff are happier, and we want to make sure that everyone is happy and safe and feel good coming to school on a regular basis. So our district committees, we have 4 of them, like I shared, in those 4 key areas of the opportunities we get to help you succeed. And as a low-performing district, we have to look at indicators and take steps to really meet those indicators and make sure we're making improvement. So these are the indicators that have been selected by the groups. Our individual groups are going to do next steps and looking at the focus ones of A3, C10, EO3, and health and safety still have to come up with theirs, and then making action steps. At our November board meeting, we're going to present our finalized plan to the board to make sure that we are moving forward in a direction that's positive for Washington County school students. And last but not least, we need parents. We need parents to have a voice in our district. There's going to be a lot of changes that are happening over the next couple of years. There's going to be a lot of issues that come up, a lot of concerns that you might have, and we want you to have a voice, and we want you to have a say in what's going on. So if you're interested in being part of a parent advisory, I'd love for you to scan that QR code and put your information in. I'm looking for 2 to 3 parents from each school to be able to serve on a parent advisory board. We'll meet every other month once we have everybody involved, and really hoping to get some parents who are willing to come and help us problem solve. Yes, we want to hear your concerns. We want to hear the problems and the issues that you have, but we want to hear ways and come together with you to find ways to make things better, because that's how we're going to be successful, of all of us working together as a team. Does anyone have any questions? Awesome. I think we have the link working. I think at the last meeting, I still had the Washington County email set. So if you can't get it, my email address is jsimpson@wcs.nc.us. Feel free to send me an email, and I'll make sure I send you the direct link. .org, what'd I say? There we go. .org. It's been a long day, y'all. So, thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Smith. I'm the Chief Technology Officer. It's so good. You can clap. It's cool. It's all right. Yes. I don't mind. I don't mind. Let's get that one. We just wanted to share 2 really quick new things that we are launching for our school district. Some of our elementary schools and middle schools have already started utilizing them, and of course we want to push this across the district wide. But one, if you haven't visited our website lately, you'll see that we've revamped the site. It's a lot more user-friendly, and our goal here is to try to put as much information as we can out to our community in real time. So you'll notice that on our website, we have a live feed, just like a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed. We have a Washington County Schools feed. And Friday, I was notified that Washington County Schools, our app is finally finished, and we're getting ready to roll that out to everybody. So let me say it a different way. Yes, Washington County Schools has an app for Washington County Schools, all right? And so as things are happening in real time, like some of our volleyball stars from early college are making their super slams, we'll be able to take a picture, post it to our app, and everyone will get it right away. All right, so let me make you a star. Do some community service projects. You know, score that A+. Be the valedictorian. I want to post it right on our website. Doesn't that sound good? Yes. All right, fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Carr. I always got my back. And also, y'all, we are in the hope of unifying our platforms and trimming down the number of programs that we're pushing out, trying to meet all the needs everywhere. We've unified our learning management platform into a program called ClassLink. And the idea is that students and teachers are going to have one place to go to get to everything. And just like any other new thing, there's a lot of kinks we're working out. We've been working them out for weeks now, but we will get there. I want to ask everybody to continue to be patient with the process. And if you have any problems, reach out and know that we're working on this every day. But we believe it's going to be a great thing, especially for our littles, so that they have one place to go and not have to log into 72 things. Now, let me ask you this. How many folks in the room keep a notebook with all their passwords? Oh, okay, so that means everyone else just remembers them in their head, or is it taped right on your computer screen? Do you keep a notepad in your phone? Kind of like your locker if you got an iPhone. Where my iPhone people? No iPhone people here? Okay. Hey, listen. We call it crapple at my office anyhow. Okay. So our new app will work if you have Android or if you have Apple. Either way, look for that. We're going to post information about how you can download it from our website. We'll start that campaign this week. And for the next few weeks, we're going to push that out, all right? Does anyone have any technology questions? All right. Keep up the good work. Here you go.
Okay, I just want to thank our school board for being health conscientious. We are probably one of the few districts that continues to look at our community statistics, and they frequently, even if it's not in an open session, they do in closed session, look at where we're at with COVID numbers, and I've noticed that about half of our staff and students are continuing to mask. So we just encourage you, as long as you would like to mask, to do so. And I hope I'm not jinxing it, but we haven't had to put a COVID positive in our database in about 10 days. So I hope it continues to stay like that. We are continuing to test weekly, and so thank you students and staff that are continuing to test just to make sure that we're providing a safe environment. You guys are welcome to stand, but there's some real comfy seats up front if you want to come up front and join me. There we go. I want to do a shout out for a new partnership with Washington County. They have started at the high school. Have you seen them down in Creswell yet? Agape? Okay. Get some of those paperwork turned in to show that you would like to have the mobile bus or come down here to service staff and students. All we have to have are people signed up to see, and they will start a weekly visit. We have already started that at Washington County High School. It is on a sliding scale. If you have health insurance, they will see a student or staff member and charge accordingly. If you do not have insurance, do not let that keep you from filling out the paperwork. They have a grant that will help aid people who are non-insured, and you still can get medical care. It is beyond just health care. Let's say that you have a student or a staff member that would like to have some behavioral or mental health therapy. We have those kind of services available through Agape as well. At their site, downtown Plymouth, they have extensive dental services. On the bus itself, they could do just a general check or cleaning. And if it's not their particular day, we don't have them yet, but we will have a unit that's kind of like a robot where we could do a virtual visit with them in order to serve our students and staff. I know that's something that will continue to grow in popularity as people get seen, but don't forget that we have those services right here in our school system. We also have an after-school program that is funded with federal dollars through 21st Century. It is not through the school system, but we are a partner. Students at Creswell Elementary, Pines Elementary, and the high school can take advantage of an after-school program, and it is housed in Roper. So if you would like some information about that, you can see one of the administrators, and they are still taking students. It is a free program. Beaufort Community College is one of our best friends. They serve this school extensively as early college students are simultaneously taking high school and college courses. But they also serve Washington County high school students, and they too can take college and career promise courses. And as these students are well aware, you have to keep your GPA at a certain level in order to qualify to continue to take classes. We appreciate them inviting us to campus last week. We appreciate staff for going and making sure that you had the opportunity to tour some of the CTE offerings that Beaufort also offers our students. I really want to do a shout out for potential future teachers in this room. Beaufort Community College not only can give you your first 2 years free, but we can help you with a scholarship program to build our own teachers and a grow your own type program to do those last 2 years. If you are really interested in being a teacher and working in Washington County schools, please talk to your counselors. We need you. We need people going into education. We also have a program that will help fund teacher assistants going into a teacher role. So it's called TA to Teacher. So we are trying to work on growing our own as we realize not as many people are going into education. So we appreciate our early childhood students. They actually go to Pines Elementary every day to help support those classes. And I think that they may be just planning a visit to Creswell, even though we can't afford to send them every day down here, just because they would miss too much of their own studies with travel time. But I do think they would like to come and see the school building. Now to probably what most of you are most interested in, where we're at with our new construction. Well, we are very pleased that we were able to receive $50 million in this county that does not come from taxpayer dollars, but it actually might have come from your mom and dad and grandparents' pocketbook because it came from those lottery funds. And so anyone that supports the lottery, we are so appreciative. And we also want to encourage you to continue to talk to legislators and continue to help us with the General Assembly, because although we are so grateful and thankful for the $50 million that we have in our area, we really need some additional funding for a phase 2 of our project. And our project is to have a viable, state-of-the-art new facility that's pre-K through 12. Now, some of you in this room may say, but what about the early college? That's a great big question mark right now. We know we're going to have one, but I just can't tell you where it's going to be. It may end up that we can find enough funds to leave it down in Creswell. That is a goal that we are striving to do because we know that you have found a happy home, more space, and you have really built a culture in this building. But there also may be a reality with funding that it may have to return to the Roper site. So where the early college will land, I do not have a crystal ball right now to tell you. I can tell you that this is what the front of the building will look like. As we get towards the close of the program, I'm going to invite you to come and look at these different boards up here closely. I will stick around and answer as many questions as you have, and if you're brave and want to ask the whole group, we can hear from you at that point. We do finally have all of this in the name of a school project. So the land has been deeded over. Now, these ball fields that are out here to the side, those ball fields are in phase 2. They will not most likely be already built when we get into this building right here. But we hope that very soon we'll be able to secure that phase 2 funding. So they do come with phase 2. One of the things that people are most curious about has to do with the traffic circles. We actually had to go head to head a little bit because at one point the company wanted all of the traffic, like 100% of the traffic, all coming in that middle section off of Highway 64. And school folks who are wise to buses and car riders and staff said, no way, that will not work. It is currently a building space that is approved for traffic to come off of 45 for the buses, and we want that to stay. So the buses will enter off of 45. Now let me tell you about a couple of options. The company has currently where buses come and drop off kids over here. This is like the entrance to the cafeteria area and coming in the building this way. But when we visited Jones County has a building very much like this building. Those administrators have been in that space for several years. And they said, we have moved to a new plan. That is no longer working. So their plan is what our administrators are currently looking at, but that just kind of, we'll see once we get closer in there. But that plan has the bus going in that back of the building. You notice that there's a little walkway down each one of those hallways. This hallway right here, the longest hallway, is pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. So the bus could loop around, stop, and drop off pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. Then it could drive forward, drop off second, third, fourth, and fifth graders, and to come in this way. And I am going to get you to help me show the board what you would like to see that building look like. And I'll bring up a slide in a minute that shares that with you. We need your input. We need to hear from kids, we need to hear from parents, we need to hear from staff, because we need to have 2 schools is what we're allowed, and we've got to come up with the grade configuration. So the board has asked for some input, and then they'll decide, and then we'll send that to DPI for approval. So that's the traffic circle there. We are going to have, it says bus parking over here, but that's an old slide. That's actually been changed to student parking because the staff said students cannot park in the parking lot we're parking in. They have learned from that too, that it is not a good idea to have students and staff parking in the same parking lot. So students will park in that parking lot. It will also be available for sports, for athletics, so everybody's not having to come from the very front of the school. I mean, can you imagine someone who comes to see a grandchild, they're already struggling to walk or either be pushed in a wheelchair, having to park in the front of the building and go all the way over there to a ball field? So we held true to making sure we had that parking lot. And then this parking lot in the front would be for staff. These loops right here can be for car ride or drop-off. So this first loop right here can be for pre-K through 5th grade, and this loop over here can be for 6th grade through 12th grade. All right, so the traffic has been a huge thing, and it all has to be approved. It all has to be approved by DOT, by DPI. There's lots of folks that are putting their stamp on making sure that everything is right, even before we get started. So this is what the front of the building will look like, and we'll get there. We're working on getting there. Okay, this is a bigger picture of what I just showed you. One of the big things that we had to actually write in as an alternate at first, because at first we only got 40 million, and there was no way we could even move forward at all. And so we ended up finding out that both of these gyms are about $5 million a piece. So this one right here will seat 1,000 people. It will be for the high school, and it is what is considered suitable for conferences. Washington County has not been able to host conferences before, And so now, not only can we host conferences, but it's right there on 64. Everybody can find us easy. It's going to be great. And then we also have double girls and boys changing facilities so that, again, it meets all the conference standards. This gym over here will also be operational all day long, so we could actually have middle school athletics and high school athletics going on at the very same time. The smaller gym meets the requirements for all the middle school indoor sports. We, I am sad to say, do not have an auditorium or a stage, but we just simply couldn't afford it. So there is space on this end of the gym to put up like a portable stage, and there is space there for that. Now, we can come back to this slide if anybody has questions as we continue on, but those are kind of the main highlights from that particular slide. All right, so we do want and I need your input on what you think this school should look like. And I'm going to give you in the actual survey the same data. So you don't have to try to remember what it says. But for option A would be a pre-K through 8 school. Believe it or not, there are a lot of those around, and they actually usually call them elementary schools, even though it's pre-K through 8. And then we could have a just 9 through 12 school. Now with this, you'll notice, if we went with this as the majority vote, this puts the majority of students in that first school. 770 kids approximately would be in that first school. And that would put about 343 in grades 9 through 12. That does not include early college numbers. Early college numbers are different. You also notice, and it's important to note, how many tests are required if we did that particular kind of grade configuration. This particular grade configuration, you'll notice that not only do you have the majority of the students in that first set, but you also had the majority of the test. And there's always changes in testing. I hope and pray that this new survey that they just launched, that they just got feedback on, will turn into a change in how they do the accountability system. I can tell you I put in my vote because I don't think 80% proficiency and 20% growth is fair. I think it should look more like a 50-50 model or a 60-40 model, that we should get more credit and students should get more credit for growth. What's being passed out right now is a hard copy. If you want to vote today, I can input that information manually, but I will also give you an electronic version. Okay, option B is really just a down the middle split. You'll notice that this seems to have the most equitability among it. It has similar numbers in both schools, as well as similar numbers in testing. Here's a kind of like an aha. It also allows all students that are participating in sports to be under one particular school. And none of these numbers, as far as the testing, includes the assessments. Okay, option C. So we're asking you to choose between 3 different things. Option C is a pre-K through 6. This would put 6th graders who are playing sports having to do scheduling and work out those kinds of things with the administrators, which is not a problem, because we're going to be in one building. So if option C is the choice that is selected, this puts about 620 kids in the pre-K through 6 school and about 500 kids in grades 7 through 12. One of the things that's nice about this particular option is, and all the options really, the CTE opportunity for our middle schoolers that we've never had before. So our CTE teachers just are more available to serve our middle school population once we get in this building. And that is super, super exciting. This is posted on our website. You can snap a picture of it if you'd like to take an electronic version on your phone, or you can vote with the hard copy that's available. This is what the gymnasium would look like. Currently, the logos are not written in, and they are an alternate. Believe it or not, just to do graphics around our new school, you're looking at $50,000 more dollars. It's like everything comes with a price tag. So $50,000 for the logos. So if you can picture that, just kind of blank for right now. This is an up-close picture of what the dining area would look like. And you can imagine, with 1,000 kids going through that, it's going to have to be highly scheduled, but it can happen. It's just everybody's going to have to be on the clock like they're supposed to be and in places. You will also notice that that whole interior hallway right here has some extra collaborative spaces. So I imagine that high schoolers will probably venture down a little bit, and that down in this area, you've really still got your elementary and middle school eating. This is what one of the hallways looks like with furniture. Keep in mind that furniture, technology, solar panels has moved off of the alternate list, but furniture, technology, and all the sports fields are all in a different phase. They're alternates. They, right now, we're just trying to get the building. Okay, we are all staff and students hard at work every day. I, too, would like to claim that I need kids in school. I need kids in school every single day. If you think about it, if you pick up your child just 1 hour early, 5 days a week, they lost a whole day of school. And if you miss 2 days, just 2 days a month, you've missed 10% of your school year. Figure it out. 2 days a month, and you miss 10% of your opportunity to learn and grow. All right, just a reminder, within our Back to School Guide, which is posted on our website, there's the entire code of conduct. So if you have any questions about what the process is with getting in trouble and where it falls, like how much trouble I got into and the why, all of that is in the Back to School Guide. There's a lot of information in there, much more than just the code of conduct. But that seems to be where we get a lot of questions. Last week, we celebrated our cafeterias, and we made this poster for them. And I notice, and I hope, that you have seen some changes in the cafeteria here after talking to students a couple weeks ago. We're getting ready to open it up for some questions, and you can tell me. Please make sure that during the month of October that you are celebrating administrators. October is National Principals Month, so you know, it means a lot if you just verbally tell them how much you appreciate them. But just taking the time to write a card or jot an email about how much you appreciate them, bring a cookie, just whatever. Just let them know how much you appreciate them choosing to be in Washington County. Our high school, as you know, is run by Mr. Price and Miss Peel and Miss Skinner at the high school. Our middle school is Miss Stokes and Mr. Boston. At elementary, we have an administrative intern next door. And so we celebrate Ms. Carmack working with Dr. Yancey over at Creswell Elementary and Ms. Hines and Mr. Peel at Pines. We do have one more of these community meetings, and they're all a little bit different because this one's getting ready to be different based on what you ask and want to know about. We did not have the Back to School Bash because we did not want to be seen as competing with our fire department. Our fire department had the same day that we had selected for our back to school bash, and it was celebrating 100 years of service. So what we chose to do is we just set up a tent and we went to support our fire department. But the board would really like to see us still do something for the community. And when we met with leadership team, everybody decided that, you know, almost around the beginning of December, crayons are breaking, you need pencils, you still need paper and things. So we'll just do like our back to school bash, but we're gonna call it a holiday bazaar. And I share that date with you this early because you may know of someone that does crafts or that would like to support our kids by either donating school supplies or has something that they would like to show the community as far as a product that they'd like to sell, they'd like to set up a table. So let's make this day lots and lots of fun. We will still have things like we've had in the past, like hot dogs and cotton candy and popcorn and all that kind of thing to encourage you to come out. There will be some opportunity for some community service. I will get those fruits and vegetable costumes again, and several of you helped me with those last year. But the Holiday Bazaar will be December the 3rd, since 62% of our school system attends one building now. With the middle school in Pines being consolidated, we're just going to do it in that location because, again, the majority of our school system attends that one building. All right, so those are our presentation things. Mr. Price said that you had some questions. So what can I or some of our staff answer for you? And we also have 2 board members. So any of us are available to answer your questions. Yes, ma'am? The setback? You know, I don't have an exact square footage to tell you, but I can find that out at our next building meeting. Let me see if I can go back to. A lot of it has to do with, of course, the parking lot. There was one picture I think helped. There was one, wasn't there one with traffic circle? Yeah, that's probably the best one. So, not that I know of. Ah, okay, you taught me something new. Okay, this part right here is, I will find out what that length is right there. And it's probably going to be determined by DOT. Because of those turnarounds, we have to be able to get fire engines and emergency vehicles in this loop, and we have to be able to get them in this loop. So it's probably going to be determined by DOT. Yes, let me show you what phase 1 is. Phase 1 is all of this. Phase 2 includes this right here, technology and furniture. Well, the ball fields. And we really haven't priced like a concession stand. One of the things that was asked at the last community meeting, that was the first time it had been brought up, was playground equipment for kids. So we have dismantled our playground equipment and are storing it and plan to use it again because no money had been set aside for playground equipment, and we know how important that is for our young folks. And then we also have playground equipment here that we could relocate. So that is an important piece, and so all we'll end up having to do is fund safely putting it back up, but rather than just leave it bare. But right now, those are all the phases that we have. One extra perk that you may or may not have caught on to by watching our board meetings, there was a new opportunity that just came about within the last month that allows for a federal rebate program. So where even 2 months ago, we could not even dream of incorporating solar panels, and we really wanted to, because Ms. Jordan will tell you it's going to save us money up front, right away, immediately. It will really help diminish our bill for electricity. So we really wanted it, but it was in phase 2. Well, with that rebate, we are able not only to capture some of the $2.5 million it's going to take us to do the solar panels, but it allows us to also, because there's 2 other things. One is geothermal, has to do with like a bladder around the school and the walls, but there's 3 pieces that up front they're going to cost us a little bit more, but it allows us to get a 40 to 50% rebate on the whole project, like of HVAC. So we end up getting put back into the building a credit of like $3.5 million. So we are really ecstatic about that new opportunity. The only negative about the new opportunity is it delayed us from going to the LGC in December, and now we can't go until January because some engineering things had to be reworked. But long term, it's going to be good because we're going to have a better building, more state of the art, that's more conscientious about saving money overall, because we'll have to start paying back this loan once we're in the building, and the loan we have to be able to pay back with our capital outlay funds and our money that we're saving by closing the other buildings. It's made for 1,100. About 1,100. Yes, ma'am. Well, the may and may not is remaining in this building or returning to Roper. The board has decided to give us a year leeway on if we happen to be like running really close to getting all of our inspections and getting into the building. You would know we can't get those rooms pre-K licensed like a snap, because there's so much that goes into that. So they've given us a little leeway on, we may have to move our pre-K program over gradually, and we may not be making an immediate decision on leaving this space and just seeing how much we're saving within those first few months. So there's going to be an enormous amount of work that has to be done once the company says, okay, you can get in, because Mr. Smith's crowd has got to move equipment, and we've got to move in the furniture that we currently are using if we don't have funds to purchase new furniture by then. So there's a lot that has to be done, which means if it's not ready August 2024 like we want it to be, it may delay when we can get in there, because we know that we can't move over 2 weeks of Christmas. So we're just kind of at the mercy right now of first getting funding by the LGC, and then getting bids that come in that meet what we can afford, which includes the $50 million that we've got from the state, It includes the 12 or 15 million that the LGC will hopefully approve. But if they don't approve it, then we're still at a standstill until we can get monies by lobbying the General Assembly, or we have to have the monies before they will even start the project, because you have to be able to secure that you can raise the funds for the whole project in phase 1 before they'll start it. It is like a governing agency, like commission, local government commission, that they'll basically look at the books for Washington County, and they'll see, well, taxpayers can't afford to pay extra, but who's going to pay back this loan? And the who's going to pay back the loan is the school system. And so we have put together the proposal of what we can afford, which is to the tune of $900,000 a year, but it's only collected because of positions being consolidated, because of buildings being closed, so that we're not paying electricity or water or any of those kinds of things. And I'll give you, for instance, as we continue to be in these buildings, it's costing us $6,000 to $8,000 a pop when a heating and air unit goes out at the middle school. And we have no choice but to fix it because we're still in that space. But it is very expensive to stay in this number of buildings. So that is why we had such success in getting the $50 million. It's because not only did we do 2 facility studies, one that was done by DPI and one that was professionally contracted, but all of the arrows pointing to this is the best, most efficient use of all dollars to support our county. And the things that it will allow us to do by being all in one building are just tremendous opportunities for staff and students. So really super exciting, but lots of little steps that we've got to do. Like, we got to keep doing these steps, but we've got way further down the line than we were this time last year. And we're still moving. I agree. And we have looked at those numbers really hard. It's been discussed in probably 8 or 9 board meetings. A lot of that material is available for you if you go back online in the assembly. It's all public, and a lot of those documents where SFLA came and presented and gave some of those cost proposals, a lot of that is on there. We will continue to share, and we will continue to update. And as we get closer and we move into that building, we'll be very transparent with the amount of staff that have had to be reduced in order to get in there, as well as the amount of savings. Because, you know, public schools are for the public, and we're not trying to not share that information with you. And so it's really important that you bring the questions and that we help to find the answers. And I will work on finding that footage for us. But I'm pretty sure it's DOT that's going to be telling us what the distance is going to be. I know Mr. Price had some things he wanted to share with you about some opportunities to support the school. I think you got to have this thing.
Okay, guys, I got some money if anybody would like some. Okay, well, we're going to give some away. We're very blessed to have some folks that back the school program, and one of our sponsors this year gave us some gift cards to give away at one of our community meetings. And so tonight's the night we're going to give it away. We got 15 gift cards. And Jewel? Scratch it and find out. Woo, there's something on it. So we got these. But guys, I also want to mention y'all, for those of you who haven't had a chance, there was a sign-up sheet. We started something this year called our Wolf Backers, and we need support, as all schools do. And we started off our first school-wide fundraiser, and it kicked off today. We're doing Indian River fruit, and we got Christmas greenery wreaths and things. The greenery, we have to have our order in by Halloween, so the kids got all that stuff today, and our fruit order has to be in by November 7th. So if you can help us with this, it's really cool, because now, back in the day when I used to run band fruit around, we had to drive it around to everybody's house and drop it off. Now, if they want it to, they'll ship it straight to their house. So if you have aunts and uncles that live in other parts of the state or across the country, they can support you here at the school and do that. Okay, we're looking at the last three numbers here. First winner will be 048. You have to be present to win. Going once, going twice. Don't work that way. You got to have the number. Do you have 048? Bring it up here. You almost lost out. Give me a ticket. There you go. All right. Next one. 033. There you go. Let's get that one stuck on the bottom down there. No, just. All right. 005. No, there you go. Maybe I need to bring you up here to draw. Watch me look at it. 040. All right. Next. 020. All right. Make sure you got the camera. No. I drew two, so I'm going to read both of them. 027 and 023. Swirl it again. Throw your ticket on the table. All right. Huh? 046. All right. Back there at the back. Michael. All right, here it goes, Michael. 035. Huh? All right. We still got more. Here we go. 044. There we go. We got a winner. I'll take that back. Right back here. Zero, 4, 9. There we go. 3 more. Big bucks, no whammy. 0, 1, 2. Okay, buddy. See you later. All right, here we go. 2 left. They're going fast. 0, 3, 2. If you win, you can't have it. No, 0, 3, 2. 0, 3, 2, going away. I don't have a ticket, so there you go. Oh, I drew 2, so here we go. These are the last 2. 0, 3, 4. 0, 1, 6.
Just to verify it?
Oh, hey guys. I got some good news for you. I miscounted. Did y'all hear me? I miscounted. Here's one more. I got to make sure I only get 1 this time. I can't give away 2. All right, I think I got 1. I got 1 ticket, and it is 0, 4, 7. So let me close out. Thank y'all so much for coming out and being a part of this tonight. We have a lot of activities going on this week, and we really could use your support. Parents, if you can help us out, we have a lot of events going on. Anything you can do to help, but we really could use some support on Halloween night at Trunk or Treat. We need as much support as we can for that event. Last year, we thought we were going to have a little small gathering of students, and we wound up with over 400 Washington County kids there. So please come out and help us out with that tonight. It's one of the best hours you can spend all night long. Thank y'all for coming out, and have a good night. Yes.
It's a nice close.